Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you for subscribing and giving me a like occasionally, as well as those comments. Anyhow, we're going to do a deep dive into the Recteq major update of an application that they just released here not too long ago. I'm going to run through some of the features that I normally use, and actually going to try a feature or two that I don't normally use, believe it or not. I mean, I think I've used most everything in it, but actually haven't used some of the main features. Okay, so here's what you can expect when you download that update. All right, basically your landing page defaults to a major dashboard that gives you access to pretty much everything. Now you can change that, and in my case I'm moving from the dashboard view to the my grill view. You can also have a default on recipes if you want to, and then from there you have the ability to basically restart this up and have it default to just what you want to look at. In my case, I really just want to see the grill itself. Now, while the look and feel has changed just a little bit, you still have the basic controls for moving left and right and so forth, okay? But you can also expand these menus and get access to much more features that are there, including the settings. And again, the settings used to be a little bit easier to access before to get into the advanced settings, but now you can, I think it may be a little bit cleaner this time. But again, you still have access to those advanced settings. You can still calibrate the RTD on the left and right oven. You can still adjust the feed rate on the left and right oven. These are huge features that I really haven't seen in any other pellet grill that's out there. Okay, but again, that control comes with its own risk. You can mess things up if you're not careful. But you can name your grill. You can update the firmware versions and everything else from there. You can basically take care of all that from the advanced settings, which again are located off of that primary settings icon on the grill section itself. Okay, now from here you can change the name. I'm leaving mine as Dual Fire, and then again you can go back and you can access some of the other sub menus. You can get into timers. This is kind of convenient, although really I don't ever really use this. I've got an Apple Watch and I just kind of set my timers on that. But then there's other things you can go to as well. You can go out and look at your cook history. Now this I do use. I bring up the graphs and take a look at things. Of course, you got to select the oven that you cooked on last for things to come up. Otherwise, nothing comes up. And then from there, you can go back and take a look at temperature fluctuations throughout the cook, and it'll plot the probes on there as well. That white dash line basically lets you know what your set point was. And as you saw me do there, you can pinch to zoom in and out. So you just put your fingers together on the screen and run them away from each other, and that gives you kind of the zoom out, or you can pinch your fingers together and that gives you more of the zoom in. It's pretty convenient, and of course, as you can tell from below, it does keep track of your cooking periods. So in this case I had one from 11 to 1 and then another one from 3 to 4. I had a couple of cooks going on that day, one for lunch and one prepped up for dinner. I forgot what I made, but anyhow, I'm sure it was tasty. I'm sure the kids liked it anyway. But you can show all those cooks on one and then basically scroll your way between the two, or just select from each one of them, and then that just takes you right there. So pretty convenient. But it does save the last 30 days, so you have a drop down menu to take you to those last 30 days and bring anything up that you want to look up during that period. So pretty straightforward stuff. And again, you have the ability to move from your left side or your right side and take a look at things. Now, one of the things you also can do is you can save one of those cooks if you want to keep it for longer than 30 days. All right, and this is kind of nice, and it also gives you the ability to reference certain recipes associated potentially with that cook. So that's convenient. I've used it a couple of times, but not many times. Now, one thing I have not used is this guided cooks, where you can go through and look at these fairly detailed recipes that give you really a step-by-step all the way through it. So I do a lot of pulled pork, so I was kind of curious as to how one of these guided cooks would work out. Now I'm going to use this a little bit later in this video, and I'll show you how this actually interacts. But I find it kind of interesting that they pretty much lay everything out and just say, hey, if you do this way, you can have good results. And of course you can share these with friends and family as well, as far as the recipes go. So pretty convenient, and man, do they have a ton of recipes there. If you're ever looking for inspiration, they've got a lot that you can choose from in this regard. And what I also like is they rank it, as beginner, novice, and expert. They also give you estimates for, how long it's going to take and so forth. But again, many different recipes to choose from. Just spanning the gamut, from pork to beef, to appetizers, chicken, obviously ribs, a number of different things. Okay, so when I look back at some of the cooks that I had saved in the past, because it did allow me to look at those from the earlier app, this is where they come up here. And what's convenient is it's a similar view as the graphing that you had before, where you can effectively go in and take a look at that cook, dissect it, figure out what went right, what went wrong, and then take an examination as to if you want to do anything different. Right now, I don't use this a lot, but what I have, again, going back to this, found is this is good inspiration for cooking suggestions. And it can start with your protein and then kind of dive down from there to take a look at different things that you might want to work with and do. And in this instance, looking at a pork butt, pork shoulder, that's one way to break things out. Or go and take a look at pork belly and just see the basics there for working with it and so forth. So I mean, I like this. I think it's helpful, and for both the novice and the expert alike. Many things you can do there. So again, there are a couple of main pages there. This is the My Grills page, which shows each of your grills on it. But again, you go back over to the home grill, and that'll basically bring up, if you will, the full dashboard. Now on that dashboard, they kind of give you an idea of where you are with respect to cooking and everybody else that's tied into the server and whatnot. And they give you an idea of different things you can try and shoot for to kind of advance your own skill sets and such. So I think that's kind of interesting. But again, as I look at this, I mean, there is a lot of recipes. And then of course, if you want to go do some shopping, they're going to try and get you into that as well. And you can take a look at the different things that are on sale and whatnot. So again, really a full featured lineup, with a number of different things that you can choose from. Okay, and occasionally I do look at the achievements, but periodically I will hit the shopping side just so I can see what's on sale and if there's anything that might interest me. Okay, I promised you a guided cook. I'm going to give this a shot. I figured the easiest way to do this is start with a pork shoulder or pork butt. And so I'm going to do my usual here, which is basically popping this thing open, patting it dry, and I tend to season it on all sides. In this case, I'm going down first with a little bit of blacks. That's got that table salt in there. This is a big piece of meat. It's not going to bother it too much. And then I've got that hickory brown sugar that's going on with the Kinders, from Kinders. And so I'm actually, no, this was peach bourbon. That's right. I did peach bourbon on this one. It's still good. Anyhow, getting all the sides, getting all the edges, walking through everything there. And then on the presentation side, what I tend to like to do here is do a diamond, scoring on this. So I just, kind of run back and forth on there. And then I give it the same dusting that I did on everything else and try to get as much into those cracks as I can just to keep the seasoning, there. And before you know it, we're good to put this in the refrigerator and let that dry brine overnight. So next day, grabbing this out, and it's looking pretty good. It's looking like the seasonings have done their work. Throwing this up on the top rack and putting a little bit of a drip pan just to catch the drippings, down below. Throwing the probe in there just to see if how that works within the guided cook, and getting everything set up. And so yeah, no guided cooks, but I'm going back to that pulled pork one. I'm going to start this thing up. So basically hit the start button here in a minute, but going through and looking at all the steps once more just to see what they have lined up for me. Okay, now normally I cook mine at low for a good period for the smoke period, but they're doing this at 225, which, okay, that's fine. I'll go ahead and do that too and just see where that goes. So did I do all the ingredients? Did I season it? Yeah, I did all that. Did I cover it generously with a rub? Yeah, I did all that. So now I'm turning on the grill, which side am I working on? I'm working on the right side. Clickety click there. And then now we're basically getting ready to go. And that being said, it changes the set point automatically. So I did not change this to 225 myself. It did it for me. And so it's preheating it from my low setting, up to 225 and getting it going there. So this guided cook is doing a little bit more than holding your hand. Now I tried to advance myself and it said, hey, I'm not gonna let you do that because you're not preheated all the way yet. So that step wasn't completed. So I'm letting this thing get started, and we'll just play it by ear and see how well it does. Now mind you, I didn't really put the rub on there like they wanted, but I went ahead and did it like I wanted, like I know the family likes it too. So I was hoping there'd be a little bit of allowance in there. So jumping back in and looking at this, it's holding the set point pretty well. We're at 226 and the set point was 225, so that doesn't suck. And about an hour or so in, I'm just taking a look to see how well everything is driving, and it's actually going pretty well. And then I noticed, I had notifications set on this probe, but it was off. So I went ahead and turned that back on, because I like to take it to 170 before I do the braise period. And then I realized, hey, I think the guide is overriding my notification set point. It's not going to tell me when I reach that temperature. And I found that kind of puzzling. And so I tried it a few times just to confirm that was going on. And sure enough, that's what was going on. Now I sent that back to Recteq and said, hey, I think this may be an issue, but because every time I'd go into this, it's on and then it's off. And I sent the recordings their way, and we'll see if they do anything with it. And then at that point I figured, hey, let me just try this a couple more times and see if it, corrects itself. But it really wasn't correcting itself. So at that point, I did, pretty much say, okay, I'm going to give up on that, and let's just go with, an independent visualization. And not too long into it, man, this was taking on some good color, and this was looking pretty good. I mean, like really good. It's smelling great out on the driveway. And before too long, yeah, we were looking even better. And then we get to the point where, okay, it's time for me to basically get in and do the braising action on this. Okay, so down with a stick of butter on the bottom, some brown sugar on top, and then we're going to take this baby off, and we're going to basically set this on top of the butter there. And I'm going to rearrange the probe just so I get it in there all the way. And what I'm trying to do here is just see if the guided cook wants to still call it quits at like 203 or whatever. So I'm putting some, butter on top, some brown sugar on top, and I'm going with this Cosmos Cubes peach jalapeno on here, just as a little bit of flavor on top of everything. And went ahead and removed the racks, and yeah, that's my wife's La Crusade that I do the braising in. I borrow it quite often. I don't think she minds. Anyhow, throwing that back in and letting that go until we reach our temperature, which is basically that 203. And it did reach the temperature. It darkened up quite a bit during the braise. And man, I gotta tell you, this was probing tender all the way through. I mean, it was really smelling good and looking awesome. So set that into the kitchen oven and just letting that basically, manage to cool down to 150, and then I'm ready to pull it. Now at that point, I got into pulling this, and I gotta tell you, the bone just came out super clean. I mean, like really clean. And it was tender. This was good. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you up front, tasted fantastic. Put this on some of those Hawaiian rolls and just made some pulled pork sliders with it, and then saved that. But let me give you some closing thoughts on the Recteq app. Right up front, as far as the pros go, I do like the modernized look and feel. It is an extremely full-featured app compared to everything else that I've seen out there. And I use the remote management aspects of this the most, especially when I'm at the grocery store or when I'm out and about, and I can go back and adjust some things. Now the cons, with any new major update you have, you get what I call the first version blues. It's going to suffer from that for a few times until they get everything, the kinks worked out. The guided cooks, I mean, it was more than hand-holding. It was like no deviations. I was not a fan of that. And of course, there's not a way to really revert back to any of the past versions. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking about the app at this point. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below about that app. Anyhow, take care, everybody. All right, it is in time once more. Well, something you don't see every day. I didn't think praying mantis liked barbecue, but this one seems to be hanging around the back pit there. It has been for a couple of days. Well, hopefully it's getting what it prays for. I have noticed, though, that there's been a lot of mosquitoes around lately. Maybe he's eating some of them? I don't know. I'm hoping he does. I don't like mosquitoes. Hey everybody, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I really enjoy it when you do that. And a like doesn't hurt either. But most of all, give me some comments.